All right, drivers, welcome to I Got a Smoke So Let's Ride, Episode 4, podcast with me, BTCG. I hope you are doing well today. It is Friday and you are off and it is in the car and you are ready to go. Or like I say, where I'm coming from, we rest to go. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. It is Friday, Friday, Friday. Now make sure that you got a full tank of gas. You got a little soda or something to drink, non-alcoholic, of course, in that little cup holder next to you. The radio's turned up, the iPhone's turned up, whatever you got it plugged into off of the YouTube. And you're not watching the screen because you need to be watching the road because you are precious. You are special and you are needed. So don't get distracted while you're driving. Don't let me be a distraction. I don't look good anyway, so looking don't be helping. So, how was your week? I hope you had a great week. I hope you had a wonderful week. I hope work is what work needs to be, and life is what life needs to be. Now, I'll go ahead and give this caveat out as soon as right now. It's gonna be an hour show. If you get home before an hour, your drive doesn't take you an hour. For goodness sakes, shut me down, get out the car, get in the house, because that's where life starts living. That's where the good stuff is. The other side of that door is where your love goes and where the love goes to you. So get in there and enjoy it. Forget about this fella right here, because I tell you what, I may love you, but I don't love you like they do. That is the fact. Good week for me. It was a good week for me. Car mill's back up and running after shutdown for the holiday. And we got lots of problems, which that's okay because one of my main job is being a problem solver. I'm called a reworker, which means I fix things that aren't perfect when the cars come off the assembly line. So I need work. It's been a little slow. Lines just barely cranking up and moving, but it's going and we're getting back into it, which is great. But this weekend, last weekend for you, for me, it was cold. It's supposed to snow. We had 3 days. I can't remember the last time in South Carolina. Now, everybody above the Mason-Dixon line, people I love to call Yankees, with love and admiration. People above the Mason-Dixon line are not going to think this is a big deal. But for 3 days in South Carolina, Travelers Rest, South Carolina, near Greenville, we did not have a minute for 3 solid days where we were above freezing. That's something here. When that ground is hard like rock, we drip them faucets the whole dang time. It's still dripping. Tomorrow will be the last day. I think today it goes up for an hour to 33 degrees, an hour to 34 degrees, then back an hour to 33 degrees, and then it goes back down below freezing. Tomorrow I think it's going to get up to 38 as a high, which is crazy. So, when you have weather like that, let me cut that computer off or shut it down, make it quiet. When you have weather like that, you go buy milk. I don't understand why. You go buy eggs. I don't understand why. You go buy a loaf of bread. That's the magic thing. For storms and snow, that's what you buy. I don't understand why those three things cast out the weather demons, or I don't know. It never made sense to me. I mean, I like milk. I guess kids for cereal. But why do you get milk and cereal? Bread, okay, you make sandwiches because power goes out. But you didn't get meat, peanut butter, or jelly. And then eggs. Okay, I like eggs. Good, I like eggs. They're expensive right now, but you didn't get bacon. You didn't get biscuits. You didn't get sausage. If you have the ability to cook eggs, you have the ability to cook sausage, bacon, and biscuits. I mean, come on. If I'm stuck in the house, I want steak. I want chicken. I want sides. I want to eat like I'm living good, right? I'm stuck in the dang house, right? Power goes out. I got a gas grill. I got firewood. I can cook, but actually we have natural gas, so our stove is gas, our water heater's gas, and our fireplace logs are gas. So we're actually blessed, but not everybody is in that way. But in South Carolina, that cold came. Everybody hunkered down. Everybody bundled up in the house, stayed in the house, did not travail outside. What did the Finleys do? We wanted to go to where it was even colder and go play in the snow. I'll tell you about that in just a second. What I want to do is tell you about the cigar that I'm smoking. I'm smoking a cigar that is going to be a discontinued line for Drew Estate. Just did a review on it. It'll come out in a couple Tuesdays, I think. Not this Tuesday, but next. It'll be coming out, and I think you ought to watch it. Why? Because I need the views. But this is the Drew Estate Willie Herrera's second blend ever at Drew Estate, the Herrera Esteli Norteño Mexican San Andreas Ripper, Honduran binder, and Nicaraguan from Jalapa and Esteli fillers. This thing is banging. This box press is amazing, and this is one of the cigars that really got me into seeking flavors, that really got me into the subtleties and the nuances. Stopped me from just being somebody who set fire to tobacco, sucked it in my mouth, tasted it, and blew it out. I really started to be intentional. Good word. About my smoking and smoking flavor. It really turned a page for me, and this cigar was one of the cigars, for whatever reason, that just got me going. I've got about a half a box left. I've got to tuck back. Don't tell Chief. I got to tuck back in the humidor, in the big humidor. So I'm not hiding it from Chief, but I'm not putting it on the front where Chief notices it. I'm not hiding it, kinda. But hey, don't tell him. Because Chief likes Norteños too. And you know what? Chief gets into bourbon a whole lot more than I do. Drank up all the Buffalo Trace, the Eagles Rare, and all this other stuff. So, you know, I got to. He's Chief, right? My name has cigar in it. Bob the cigar guy, right? So you know, I should have more access to cigars because my name is there, right? I would say so. I wish I would have just called myself Bob the money guy, because then I would have got more money. Yeah. So we're home. What day is it? Saturday? Is it Saturday? No, Sunday. Because I had to work Saturday. We're home Sunday, and the First Lady and Gracie. I got to shoot videos. I'm like, yeah, Sunday is for shooting videos. I got to shoot videos. I got to get the content knocked out so I can get it up, because it does. It takes. Now you got to think about it. A I do a Drew's Day every month or every week. I do a soccer video every week. I do the podcast every week. Once a month, I do Villiger. I do Aganorsa. And then I do some STG, Scandinavian Tobacco Group. I do some JC Newman. And then I have other cigars sent to me that I do. Lots and lots of pop-offs. Because if all I did was the videos that was sponsored, then it would kind of be a 4 or 5 manufacturer channel, which There's some channels like that, and I don't fault them. Just me personally, I want to have different stuff. I want you to experience and have to sneeze. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. I'm gonna have to sneeze again. So, um, and so I want to give you a balanced perspective of whatever I can experience in the cigar industry. Also, we do some. Oh, also, once a month we do second Saturdays with the First Lady live, and so that's a lot of content. And if you let that content get behind, it is ridiculous. So, I gotta set up the video. I gotta do my research. I gotta get myself prepared. Yeah, there's a little bit of that. And then I've gotta do the review. I gotta shoot the review. Then I gotta edit the review. Then I've got to save it, which it's called rendering. It takes a while, and then I've got to post it. And so this video, an hour video with hardly any editing, I changed the color a little bit. Not that you're looking, you shouldn't be. 10 and 2, 9 and 3. I change the color a little bit, and I make the audio a little bit better. I make it a little bit deeper. So it just resonates a little bit. It sounds a little better. Sounds like it's closer, crisper. Takes all the little fuzzies out of it. So then I do that, and then I make sure that everything's good with that, and then I have to save it, which takes another hour. So we're looking at an hour to set up, an hour to shoot, an hour to do the basics, 45 minutes to do the next. Then I have to put it on YouTube, which is another 45 minutes. So look at how many hours on that. I mean, that's a lot. And so, you got to make sure that you get ahead of it. And then life happens, which is exactly what happened. I shot a couple of videos, and then First Lady Sarah called me and said, "Hey, I talked to Gracie, that's my daughter, and we're going to go see snow up in North Carolina." Do you want to go for safety? And I'm like, in my mind, I've got a ton of videos to do. I'm working on my videos. I actually got myself moving, and I have to stop and do this. Life gets in the way. But before I was Bob the Cigar Guy, I was Bob. Then I was Bob, First Lady's husband, Sarah's husband, and then I was Bob, Caitlin and Steven's dad. And so I need to balance. I have to have that balance. And so I said yes. And so I knew that I would be kicking Saturday or Sunday over to today, which is Wednesday. It's my only day off. So I'll spend all day with you, which I love. I'm thankful for. So she wanted to go to North Carolina. And I knew it was freezing cold. And I knew that the plant was freezing cold where I work at. And I wanted to get me a long sleeve shirt anyway to tuck up under my work shirt. And there's a place in North Carolina that sells Ariat clothing, which is nice. Their rebar line. And I said, can we go over there and look at shirts while we're looking at snow? And she goes, sure. And so I actually got some benefit. I got some really cool long sleeve shirts that are undershirts, but they're like a quilty kind of thing. And they even have thumb holes that you can keep them down to your wrist. So it's really, really nice. So I got a couple of those. I know you're excited about that. I know you're like, oh, I'm so glad that Bob got shirts. I'm so glad I'm listening to Bob tell me about getting Ariat shirts. By the way, I got 3 of the Ariat shirts, and I got this hat. Don't look, you're driving. I love this hat. This is a pretty cool hat. And then the First Lady got something. Macy got something. I don't remember what everybody else got, but by the way, the reason I love this hat is because it's got that American flag on it. Next year, if you don't know, or if you haven't realized, next year, the United States of America will be 250 years old. 2026. Next year, we are going to be very patriotic forward the whole year. I'm planning to do some things. I'd love to do some amazing giveaways, culminating in 4th of July. So keep a lookout for that because that's coming. So we got the roads are good. They're brined up. There's no snow. None. Well, there's a little bit of snow where the side of the mountain on the road where the cut is, where the sun never hits, there's still a little bit of residual snow there, but there's no snow. So we're driving and driving and driving and driving and driving. And the first lady goes, let's just keep going. And so we were going to go way up to see I-40, to see the devastation with the storms and everything, and see how far we could get up there and go look at that. And then you start thinking about it. And I said, there's going to be snow at Wolf Laurel, which is a ski resort. And I said, those are solid roads. And the reason I know those are solid roads is because I built one. Yeah. There's a stretch of road, three miles and change, that I was on a construction team, Gilbert Southern, where I worked with a team, and we went from the Tennessee border back into North Carolina over 3 miles, cutting down the mountains and filling up the valleys and putting a road in between. I also got to build 2 bridges, and I actually built a 1-lane road up to a family plot cemetery. I think it's pretty cool. I took lots of pictures. Everybody took lots of pictures, and I did not post them here, so you're not tempted to pay attention to them. If there's enough interest where y'all are like, hey, I want to see the pictures, I want to hear the story in shorter format, maybe tell the story while you're doing construction, I will post those pictures. I didn't plan to do that job, construction. I had never done highway construction, ever. Met a friend who was going to go get a job. We were living in North Carolina, and he said, hey, I'm going to go get a job driving trucks that are 20 feet tall, 20 feet wide, and 40 feet long. Big dump trucks building the highway in North Carolina. You want to go? And I said, yeah. Who doesn't want to who doesn't want to drive God's dump truck? That's what I called it. It's 20 foot wide, 20 foot tall, and 40 foot long. The tires were 12 feet tall. They had to bring the parts of the truck on the highway and assemble them at the work site, job site, because they were too big to drive on the road. You have never seen, I bet, any of these trucks. Huge, ginormous trucks. So I went to go get the job. Because I want to be a big truck driver. I want a story, right? So I showed up. The guy went in there. He'd run heavy equipment, dozers and pans, motor graders, backhoes, track hoes. And he had an experience in that. And so he went in there and he says he wants to drive the truck. They gave him a job driving the truck. So I'm waiting out in a little stupid trailer, a little mobile home trailer. Waiting out in the mobile home trailer out in the area outside the office, and they call me in. And I go sit down in front of a couple people that, if it would have been in the 50s and 60s, they would have had slide rules and that horn glasses, right? I mean, it was those kind of people, right? Engineering people. They sat down and they talked to me a little bit and had a cup of coffee in a white styrofoam cup. The coffee was bitter. Probably started off at 5 gallons of coffee. By the time I got to it, it had evaporated down to 2 gallons of coffee. Remind me of when I was in the Corps. So we were in there, and he said, so what'd you come in for? I said, I want to drive one of them big trucks. He goes, you ever drove a big truck? And I said, no. I said, but I can drive. He said, what what makes you think you can drive a truck? I said, because I can. I told him about my military experience. I told him about that I ain't scared of challenge. I told him I could handle business. I told him, just give me a shot. And he goes, have you ever done any construction at all? And I said, no highway construction. I mean, I dug holes in my yard and then patched up driveway spots, but that's about it. And they said, have you ever worked with any huge equipment? I said, no. I said, I moved a forklift a couple times, but that's about it. He goes, all right. He started asking me about, my experiences and different stuff. And that was the lead guy talking. His sidekick that was sitting next to him opened up the drawer. We had a long table. His desk, one of them white metal desks, was bumped up against a folding table, and it made one big long platform where it looked like that they roll out maps and charts and all that, and they look at it as a group, right? But if not, it's his table, and all the maps were rolled up because I was sitting there at the table with my very non-hydrated, very concentrated coffee, which tasted good, by the way. So the sidekick guy, the number 2, he pulled out a notepad. And he writes down 2 or 3 numbers. And he says, I want you to do this math. And it was, I don't know, it was 8-10 numbers times 8-10 numbers kind of thing, 1,674,322,456 and 17 pennies, or so. I don't know. It was one of those numbers, right? And there was another number behind it. And so he slides it over to me with a pen. And so while we're talking, the guy's still talking to me. The lead guy is still talking to me, asking me questions. I think he was trying to throw me off. And I'm just sitting there looking at, talking to him. I'm just talking to him, and I'm doing the math. I mean, it's not that hard of a math. I'm just doing the math on it. And the other guy, the sidekick, is still digging in the desk, looking through the drawers for something. I don't know what he's going to do next. And so I figure it out when he reaches his hand in the desk, and he goes, and he pulls out one of them little white calculators that kind of tilted up at the end where you could see the number. It's in gray, right? And if you do the right equations, you can write words like hello and stuff like that. So we slid the calculator across the table to me, and it just so happened to be at the same exact time I had slid the math equation over to him, because I had done it. It was not that hard. And so then, feeling swaggerish, grabbed the calculator he just sent my way, turned it around, and sent it back to him. And so he grabbed the calculator, he added it up, and he looked at the other guy, and he gave him a nod, and the guy goes, I'm sorry, sir, we will not hire you to be a truck driver. And I was sitting there going, God, what a jerk. I'm sitting here all this time. The guy's waiting to take me home. Hopefully he's still there, because he was a little flake. He was odd. I could see him leaving me, and then I'm 30, 40, 50 miles away from home up the mountain. And so he says, we will not hire you as a truck driver. You, sir, are too smart to be a truck driver. At that point, the number 2 takes off out of the room. Number 1 stands up. He goes to a shelf behind him, and he picks up a stack of papers on a binder that is about 2 foot long and about 1.5 foot tall, and it's about 3 inches thick. I'm trying to remember it. About 3 inches thick. I mean, it was thicker than fart. And it was that highway, the 3 miles. And he sat down in front of me, or he sat down next to me. At this point, he dropped the book on the table. Thud, right? He dropped the book on the table and he goes, This is what you're going to build. I looked at him. And he goes, It's simple. He goes, green line means this, blue lines mean this, red line means this, all this and this and this. And he tried to tell me all sorts of things, and I'm taking it in as fast as I can. And he goes, I'll tell you what. I want you to go out and find you a tree, sit under it where you can see the road, where they're working, because they were just cutting down mountains. See the road where you're going to be working, and just look at the book. Just look at the book, and when you come back an hour before it's time to go home, and I'll answer all your questions for that hour. Then you go home. I said, so I'm hired? He goes, yeah. I said, how much? And so we negotiated a price, a decent living wage. And I said, well, I got to use your phone. I didn't have a cell phone at that time, I don't think. Or we only had one. Sarah had it. So I called home and I said, hey, I got a job. I'll be home at such and such a time. Well, they gave the other guy a job. And so because he was my ride, they let him work that day too, and he got paid. Now, he got paid a whole lot more than me because he can work freaking equipment like nobody's business. He was making tons of money. And so I sat up under that tree and I learned how to build a road. And I proceeded to be responsible for taking the top of a mountain over 360 feet, a couple of them, and cut it down at a 45-degree angle and take that dirt and go to the bottom of a valley and go up another 300 feet and fill it up to where there's a ledge that we put the road on. That's what I did. It was awful. That young guy came back in, by the way, with a bag, an orange bag. I still have it. And a metal ruler that was 8 feet long, 10 feet long, that slid in half, and a bunch of stakes, 4-foot tall stakes, 3-foot tall stakes. And they say, this is what you're going to carry. And they gave me a rinky-dink hammer. I ended up getting an S-wing axe, small hatchet axe, leather handle, and outfitted my own gear. And so I had to go shoot grade. All those little stakes that you see on the side of the road and during construction, that was my job. So I'd have to take the numbers, I have to tell the people what to do. And there are tons of crazy stories. Tons of crazy stories. My run-in with a bear, my run-in with a bulldozer, almost getting, I got covered up to my knees in dirt, all sorts of crazy stuff. Snow coming in sideways, jumping in a cavern, mountain slide, all sorts of fun stuff. Great stories. If you want to hear some of those stories, leave me comments. Let me know what those comments are or what you want to hear. Yeah, I would like to hear some more of that. I'll tell you some of these stories because I have a bunch of them. And now they're fresh. So we went driving. Now I didn't lay the asphalt. I was the guy that laid the area for the asphalt to be laid, the concrete. And I couldn't remember exactly where everything was because when I did it, it was flat and it was 25, 26 years ago. So we went to Tennessee, turned around, and I knew that I started at the Tennessee border and I went back 3 miles. And as I'm coming back on those 3 miles, I cross a bridge that crossed another bridge, under a bridge. And I said, that's my bridge. I built that bridge. We are riding on the bridge I built. Now, I didn't build the span that goes across the bridge. I was responsible for building the concrete points and the dirt that runs up to where the bridge starts and finishes. It's called buttresses. I built that. And one of them was off by almost a foot. So that bridge is off by a foot because that was my first one. I didn't know what I was doing. I was under a tree and I was trying to figure it out. I also made the road turn a little bit more in one place because I didn't do that right either. But nobody knows. And it looks good. It drives good. It drives amazing. So it was neat that we saw that road and that bridge. I've wanted to go back, but it's just an hour and a half away, and it's kind of a vanity project of, hey, let's all get in the car and go look at what I did. It always rang as a little bit too grandiose, too braggadocious, too you're full of yourself drinking your own Kool-Aid. But there was something inside of me going, you know what, I wish before I die I can drive over that road and my family can drive over that road. Now, I would have loved Stephen and Shanna, his wife, and Jackson, Ember, and Shepard to go as well. I would love them all to go. Stephen and Caitlin and Sarah have all been on the job site. Picture Stephen did a thing when he was in kindergarten where he had to take a picture of what his dad does. And so we went out there and took a bunch of pictures of us standing in the big Tonka truck. And the bucket that scoops and fills the Tonka truck was big enough to put a small dump truck in. It was that big. And we got pictures. And I've got pictures of us standing there, and Steven's wearing my hard hat. And, I think Caitlin's wearing the vest and stuff like that. It was really, really, really cool. And so we were out there, we were doing that. As we were going, I was getting kind of excited. I was getting man, this is cool. This is really going to happen. I didn't think it was ever going to happen. I'm like, this is really going to happen. And the closer I got, and the snow started, we started seeing snow. The snow wasn't falling, but the snow was on the ground. Gracie took some great pictures of some ice that just looked like, oh man, it was amazing. Like Elsa had did it herself, right? And it was gorgeous. It was beautiful. The mountains were great. The roads were really brined, and we're in the truck, 4-wheel drive, and so it didn't have a problem. And so we're going up there, and we get closer, and then I can't see exactly where my road was. And so Sarah goes, well, let's go to Tennessee, turn around, we'll come back. Well, no, I said, yeah, that's a great idea. And so as we turned around, as I was driving through it, I kind of got in my feels a little bit. I was like, wow, this is kind of impacting me a little bit. But then we turned around and we started coming back. And then I said, I am on my road. There is no ifs, ands, or buts, no doubts about it. This is my road. And I start telling stories. And the grandkids start listening. And Gracie starts listening. And Sarah's listening. And the kids are asking a few questions. And Caitlin's asking questions. And nobody's having other conversations. And nobody is telling me to quit telling my stories. Because I tell stories, they're invested. And it really started to hit me. It's hitting me now, actually, now that I'm talking about it. It really started to hit me. I said, that was so much more important than I thought it would be. That moment was crazy. And so we got off on the exit and we went across my small bridge and parked. And I got to get out and get my picture taken with my bridge. And then I got Gracie to stand with me, and we took a picture together. And then the First Lady, we took a picture together. And Macy and Caden, we took a picture together. And it just, the weight of that was so heavy. It was so engulfing. It was so full that I kind of didn't want to leave. It's like, then it was time to go because it was 12 degrees. It's cold. I sat down on some rocks to get my picture took, and I think I froze my butt. Oh, it was freezing cold. It was freezing cold. So we all got back in the truck. It was so cold the snow didn't stick. The kids started playing with snow. The grandkids started, Mason kids started playing with snow. They threw it up in the air and it was powder. It would not stick. It would blow across the road. It would not do anything but just dust. So as we got up to drive back away, head back home, we got to a point to where we were off the bridges, off on a side road, and we stopped. And it was the most picturesque picture that it was perfect. There was mountains, there was snow, there was one bridge coming in at one angle, and the other bridge was going under at another angle. It was like perfect. And either Sarah or Caitlin said, stop, and took some pictures. And I actually got out of the truck and just stood there and got my picture taken with it and just stood there and saw it. And it was just the next 10 miles, at least, I just kept muttering like some freaking dude from the asylum. I built that. That's my bridge. That's my road. I built that. I did that. And I couldn't stop, and I didn't want to stop. I just kept saying it, and I muttered it under my breath, and I said it out loud. And Caitlin and Sarah were very kind and didn't say, shut up. Yeah, we saw it. Be done. I was very proud. The fact that I had actions, I took a chance and I worked hard and I built something that has stood for 25 years and it's not going nowhere. They're not building no bridge no time soon, or no roads no time soon up in that area. And that road and that mountain and that valley is going to be there for much longer than I'm going to be on this earth. The fact that I got to make something that lasts. The fact that my family can say, he did that. My big daddy built that. It spoke volumes to me. I was happy. I was proud. And then over the past days, as I'm thinking about it, I'm not sad, but I'm not complete. Because I wonder if that is the biggest achievement of my life. The one that I will be remembered by. Talk so much, my cigar went out. And if that's the case, the people that know me, the people that love me, the people that tell my story, if that's their best story, if that is what defines me, that I'm a craftsman, that I'm a worker, that I'm a provider, that I make things that last, that I'm adventurous, that I'm challenging, if that's the thing that defines who I am when I have been on this planet, then I have wasted my time on this planet. Yes. People need roads. People need bridges. Probably millions of people have traveled that road. Tons and tons of freight and food and clothing and supplies have traveled that road. People are affected without knowing who it came from, but because of my actions, they are blessed and benefited. Their life is better. But if I did not live a life where I am known to have poured in to those that I love and those that have just passed through my life, I have not lived up to the potential that I was created for. But I got to tell you, that bridge is bad. It's amazing. So pretty. Yeah, little rocks around it, little trees. Yeah, a little sign on it, I think. Oh, it looks so good. I bet the birds make their homes there. I bet they just say, man, this is the nicest bridge I've ever lived on. We're going to live under this bridge for a while. Yeah. So that was, and we got to play in the snow a little bit. I didn't. I got in there and I got my pictures and I got my butt back in the truck. I did. Then we drove down that little road because Sarah remembers driving in an old 81 diesel Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham that was given to us by her father because we didn't have a car in 90s. And she sometimes had to come pick me up, and she remembered a little lunch cafe that we would stop and meet at. She wanted to see that, and we drove up the road a little bit, and there's a little tubing spot where people were tubing, like a paid to tube kind of thing. Not me, Bubba. You know that story. Not me. But much less steep, by the way, and not facing the road. But it didn't pull you up the hill. You had to walk up the hill. And so the girls were like, hey, let's go do that. And I said, hey, it's 5 o'clock. And the deal was I'd go with y'all and this and that. But I got to get back and I have to at least post up, which was last Friday's podcast. I had to post it up to YouTube. So I need to be home. We got home. We went to eat at Cracker Barrel. Got a couple things from the store. Did we get anything? Yeah, we got a little bit from the store, and then we headed on home. We boogied on home. Got back to the house around 8 o'clock. Ran straight out here. Let dogs out. Ran straight out here. Did my editing and or put it up on Facebook, YouTube. I was back in the house, getting ready to go to work by 9 o'clock. In bed by 9:45. So life was good. I'm glad I took the chance, or I took the opportunity to be balanced and mess up my schedule because I like schedules. I like things in order. If I have a 4-day break, one day is for this, 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 and that's how it works. And because I got a lot of stuff going on, whether it's home repairs, which we're still working on that bathroom, whether it's the channel, which takes up a lot of time, great time, not complaining, just staying. My personal projects, going shopping, doing things like that, living life, all those things. So I'm very calculated in my time, and so giving up that time was good for me. And the first lady is very smart because the first lady said, "Hey, we're going to go look at snow. You want to go?" I'd have been like, "Nah, I got work to do." But what she did was she said, I know you got reviews to do, but me and Caitlin are going to take the kids and we are going to see snow. See, at no point at this point have I been asked to do anything, so I'm not being resistant. See snow, and I wanted to invite you to come just for safety purposes if the roads get bad. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, I got to keep them safe, right? If something bad happened to them, then I would never forgive myself because I said, no, I have to do reviews. So I'm glad she kind of manipulated my emotions that way. Don't tell her I said that. Speaking of manipulating emotions, First Lady is going to manipulate emotions again here soon. What is it? Today is the 22nd. When you get this, it'll be 23rd, 24th. Let me check my calendar. Let me do this real quick so I can let y'all know how many weeks you have left. So Friday, Saturday. So one Saturday, 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Yeah, second Saturday with the First Lady. We're going to be doing a big giveaway. She's going to have a great time. She's talking to me about doing a series. She's kicking on some ideas about some series dealing with different people in the industry. It's a very, 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 very lofty goal. A lot of moving parts. But she's going to try to kick that off. So it will be neat to see the First Lady's evolution of Second Saturdays with the First Lady Live. Second Saturday with the First Lady Giveaway Live, I think that's what we call it. So that's coming soon. Chief Talk. Yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, this is episode 4. Yesterday, Chief Talk had on Terrence Riley from Aganorsa, at least scheduled. Today's Wednesday, so for tomorrow. But Terrence Riley's going to be there. We're going to talk all things Aganorsa, and Chief is doing supposed to be, this hasn't happened yet, so hopefully, unless things changed, he is doing a airport food bracket challenge. It's going to be hilarious. I know it. Because Terrence Riley is hilarious about that, dealing with the airport cheesesteaks. And so Chief is really diving in on this. He spent 2 weeks figuring out his bracket. Brackets have been great for Chief Talk. We've done a number of brackets, and they're always engaging, and people have enjoyed them. So you won't be able to be engaged if you haven't watched it today, because today's Friday. It's already done. Chief Talk is live, but it is recorded. I highly, highly recommend you go back and check this out, right? Go and find it on our YouTube channel and watch it, because I'm telling you, it's going to be hilarious, and I guarantee it. And there's going to be a lot of information. I have some questions. It is going to be, and Chief has some questions. It is going to be a lot of questions coming from the peanut gallery. Everybody in the comments, they're going to be able to comment and talk about questions for Terrence. Chief is very focused on making sure that people that are on the show, the viewers, the family, get a chance to have communication. Chief likes to do all the talking and this and that. When we have a guest on, it's a little bit harder, but I will be doing more moderating. So if I see something pop up, I'll try to get Chief's attention. I do not do much Chief Talk anymore. I wasn't there last week. I'm trying to back out more. Not that I don't love Chief Talk. I enjoy hanging out with y'all. I enjoy hanging out with Chief on Chief Talk. It's a nice piece of content that we have. But Chief is awesome enough that he needs to have his own space, and he needs to do his own thing. I mean, I've got so many of these. I've got this podcast now. I've got Drewsday. I've got Saka. I've got Villiger. I've got Aganorsa. Then we've got all these other reviews and stuff. So I put out a lot of that content. Chief Talk is mainly Chief's big baby, other than doing content for PCA and Barn Smokers, and I'm in most of that as well. So this is his only solo opportunity as to date. So that's one of the things that we've talked about. Now Chief is spreading his wings and changing the game. He is bringing on a lot more guests this year. It's not going to be guest driven, but there are going to be more guests from the industry. I'm looking forward to see who comes next. Now, if the guest is just somebody I just want to be sit down and talk to, somebody that I can get to and my schedule permits and Chief allows, I'll be in here for those. But I'm going to try to be out of most of the Chief talks. But that doesn't mean that it's not amazing, because it is. Chief does a great job, and I can get out of his way. What else? We did the First Lady, second Saturday with the First Lady live giveaway. We talked about Chief Talk. We got PCA coming up in April, coming into New Orleans. We are in the process of trying to figure out our flights and figure out our accommodations. There is a slight possibility that the First Lady will be there either when we go to PCA and she will just stay at the hotel or the Airbnb, or she will meet us after PCA, and then me and the First Lady will go to a tobacco processing facility where they make Perique tobacco. We're talking with Mark Ryan, who does the Pappy Van Winkle barrel fermented Tapa Negra, and tons and tons and tons of different Perique processed pipe tobacco. I told him when I saw him at Barn Smoker, I would love to come hang out at your house for about 3-4 days and sleep in the barns with the barrels and work with the guys working. I don't want to go do an interview. I don't want to go just hang out. I don't want to go watch. I want to do. I want to get my hands dirty. I want to get deep in the bottom of the barrel. I want to sweat. I want it. I want that tobacco sticky to just be infused into my skin. I want to feel it, smell it, taste it, know it. I want to be sore at the end of the day. I do. One of the reasons is I love experiences. I love having stories to tell. And I want to have a perspective that very few people in the cigar media have. And that is going through doing that Perique process. A bunch of reviewers have gone through and done manufacturers worked, a little bit rolling a cigar or on the rolling floor. I mean, I've done that. And that's amazing and great. Master blenders do that stuff. But there's only one Perique process in the United States. And I think there's another one in China or something like that. And it's not Perique, it's the Perique process. But very few people have done that. And I want to say that I'm one of them. And Mark Ryan and his sweetie are awesome, awesome, awesome people. And he goes, yeah, let's do it. So I don't know if our schedules are going to combine. I don't know if I can get the time off. I don't know if the First Lady can do. I don't know if their schedules are there, if they're doing something else. And so I don't know, but that's a possibility. But if that's the case, I don't know how much video is going to be of it. I don't know how much anything. I'm actually going to go immerse myself into. My plan is to immerse myself into the process and the experience. I don't want to be on the outside looking in and shooting content. It kind of gets in the way, right? I just want to be Joe Schmo from South Carolina that's coming down for the first day of job. I'm applying for a job, and I want to work. I want to work as hard as they do. I want to grind. I want to roll barrels. I want to do the junk jobs. I want to take out the garbage. I'm going to scrub floors. I want to do maintenance. I want to do all that. I want to get into the gritty. I want to do the things nobody wants to do. Micro's Dirty Jobs was always an amazing. I'm like, man, that is the best job in the whole wide world. You get to go experience all these jobs and do all these jobs. And then you go to another job. Then you go to another job. You go to another job. So you just stack up these experiences. Now, I ain't crawling in no little hole, in no closed space, like Micro did. I'm not getting up in one of them little holes and getting stuck in there. No, buddy. I was in the Corps. I had to swim out of a torpedo tube underwater. Nope. I don't ever want to do that again. I don't ever want to be in a tight spot. I don't even like tight pants. I don't like wear skinny jeans. Nope. Ain't gonna do it. Of course, regular jeans are skinny jeans to me. because my blood type is gravy. It is. I'm fine with that. So we've talked about me all this time. Let's talk about you. How are you doing? Well, all right. I hope you said life is amazing because this is your year. 2025 is year of the chief, but this is your year as well. You're going to have great things. You're going to have some challenges. I believe that. How they say at the Carmel, headwinds. You're going to have some headwinds. You're going to have some challenges, but you know what? You're going to lean into it and you're going to make it happen. And you're going to come out on the other side better. And you are going to have some moments that are just going to be epic. You are going to have relationships and moments with people that build bridges. Like how I tied that in. You are going to build inroads into greatness. All right, I'll stop with that. But I do mean it. I do believe it. I know your life is phenomenal. And now I'm thinking about it right now. My head is thinking and spinning real fast. I don't want to cast shade on any of our highway construction workers or anybody who builds anything, saying that if all you known by is that, then you didn't have a fulfilled life. I'm just talking about me and my life. I mean the Wright brothers, you know, Thomas Edison, Tesla, Elon Musk, right? But that's what we know from the outside. That's what's easy to write in the stories. People like to hear the stories, but the people close to them, hopefully they know that they were valuable by them, that they were loved by them, that they were important to them, and that those people poured into those people. Because I do believe that if people and allowing people to love you and loving people, if you don't have that part in your life, you are missing out on what you're supposed to be doing. You're missing out on the completeness of who you are. I believe that. I believe a lot of people are so enamored with the outside they don't see the inside. I believe that people get hurt. Society hurts you. People hurt people hurt people. And you close yourself up and wall yourself off and you protect yourself from all those things. But the problem is in building that wall is really not discriminatory. It blocks all the good stuff too. And so you're missing out on all the good stuff. Let's face it, nobody gets out of this alive. Nobody. So, as we do it, we need to do it intentionally. Now, you ask 25-year-old Bob, he's gonna be like, "I'm just gonna build stories. I'm gonna slay my dragons and climb my mountains and conquer this and that. And be the baddest in the land and the best in the land." And 35-year-old Bob, same way. 45-year-old Bob, a little less. Now, as I'm getting closer to that won't get out alive part, it dawns on me how much time I wasted doing things, maybe good things, but they weren't the best things. I could have impacted more people's lives. So I hope and I believe that you don't have those same regrets. But we can whine about it or we can be about it. Let's be about it. So we got 40 seconds left. We have come to the end of another podcast. If you have watched all 4 podcasts in completion, all of them, leave me a comment and tell me. You won't win anything. But I just like to know that some people are watching this all the way through and all the podcasts. So I hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great week. Hope you have a great weekend. Drive safe. Get in that house. Start that living. Start that loving. And I love you. I'm glad you're here. You make the world a better place. So stay around as long as you can. All right. Later, Tater. Drive safe.